G'day legends, Coach Neil coming to you live from my fucking kitchen. Rightio, so what we're going to be talking about today is meal prep. So as many of you know, if you've been tracking us for a while now, you know that I hate the fucking excuse, I don't have time. I hear it all the time. I don't have time to train. I don't have time to meal prep. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a little bit of how I go about my meal prep. There's about a million ways to do it. The hot tip is the more of it that you do at once, the less frequently you need to actually meal prep, and the easier your nutrition will become day by day, week by week. So what we've got here is a couple of the essentials that I use. So I've actually prepped pretty much a day's worth of food here, except for the potatoes. The potatoes is closer to about fucking 3 or 4 days worth of food. So that there literally took me about 5 minutes. And I know what you're thinking, chicken takes longer than 5 minutes to cook. You don't need to do anything while it's fucking cooking. Once it's in the oven, it's doing its thing. Same with the potatoes when they're on to boil. When they're on to boil, you can go do something else. You don't have to stand there and stare at the fucking oven and stare at the pot boiling. Okay, when it's on cooking, it's doing its thing. So this shit about I don't have time is a pile of shit. Potatoes took me about 5 minutes to chop. Everything else took about fucking 2 or 3 minutes to get ready. So if you haven't got one of these, get yourself one. This is a giant fuck off saucepan, or pot, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But it's got a steamer up on top. So what that means is I can chuck fucking 3-4 days worth of potatoes in, chop them up, chuck them in, put them on to boil, but I stick my broccoli in the top here so it's getting steamed at the same time. So the end result is that I get probably a full day's worth of greens, whatever greens I'm eating for the day, steamed at once, and I get about 3 or 4 days worth of potatoes all done at once. I won't need to touch any potatoes for another 3 or 4 days, and all it took me was 5 minutes of chopping time. With my chicken breast, all right, I do fish, I do chicken. I don't really do a lot of red meat. I'll very occasionally have a steak. I'm not a huge red meat person. In fact, I'm probably 85% plant-based. I eat a lot of chickpeas, lentils, that sort of stuff. I do have a bit of chicken each day for my protein, just to try and get my protein levels up. When you cook it, get yourself some of these bad boys. They're oven bags, okay? Some of you may be going, yep, okay, heard of them. For me, I was about 38 years old before I knew what a fucking oven bag was. But they're a game changer. You stick your meat in that, you stick it in the oven, and it keeps it soft and it keeps it tender. You can season it before you chuck it in there. Essentially, it traps all the heat and the moisture inside the bag. It cooks faster, but it'll keep your meat nice and tender as well. So I've only done a day's worth of chicken there, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll get 2-3 kilos of chicken. You can get this as a regular size oven bag. You can get the large ones, which have like 3 times the size. They're fucking massive things. And you can easy fit 1.5 kilos to 2 kilos of chicken inside that thing. So literally, you can chop your potatoes, whack them in the pot, whack your greens in the steamer on the top, whack your chicken into the oven bag, stick it in the oven, and then away you go. Total time to get set up, 5 to 10 minutes, and then you just let it cook. And then when it's done, you take it out. You can either break it up into individual meals. I've got a whole pile of Chinese containers up there in my cupboard if I want to break them up into that. But right now, I've got room in my fridge, so I just stick them into a couple of big containers and break them out when it comes to meal time. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is that a big glass of Coke that he's got there? No, it is not. So what I've got here is a cold brew jug. So essentially, I can get my coffee the night before, and I'll whack some boiling water into that pot. Okay, got my coffee beans here, and what I make is I make about 1 litre of cold brewed coffee. It's just straight black coffee. You can I add a bit of almond milk to it. I actually like the taste of almond milk, and in terms of calorie content and macro content, it's as close to water as you're going to get compared to full cream milk and skim milk and all that shit. So I use a dash of almond milk in it normally. Sometimes I have it black. But what that means is when I get up in the morning, I have black coffee ready to go, put a dash of milk in it, neck that, and I can just crack on with my morning routine and my morning workout. But it also means I've got coffee, cold coffee to drink throughout the day. For those that don't know, coffee is an appetite suppressant. I don't normally drink, 1 litre of coffee a day. I'll have probably a glass in the morning and then maybe 2 or 3 glasses before lunch. And then I don't have anything after lunch because it messes with my sleep. But what it means is that black coffee acts as an appetite suppressant. It also jacks your metabolism, which is why most of those fat-burning supplements that you buy are 90% caffeine. They just fucking mega dose you on caffeine. You can do the same thing for a couple of cents making a black coffee. All right, so that's meal prep in a nutshell. I have all my meat, all my greens for a day here, and I've got about 3 days worth of potatoes, and it took me about 5 to 10 minutes of prep time. Yeah, there was cooking involved, but I was able to go off and do something else while that was happening. So no fucking excuses. Meal prep. Do it.